We're going to go ahead
Hi,
and
Lisa.
start
All
YouTube.
right. We're getting the band back together. Oh, excellent. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this show started, huh? So let's rise for the flag salute.
I can't.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Oh, we've got to come up with a better way to do that. Okay, so are there any changes or additions to the agenda? There's Lisa.
There she is.
Okay, so no changes or additions, so I would consider a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, all opposed, please say no. Consent agenda is passed. Move on to presentations and reports. Let's talk about Skip Smith.
So I would like to tell Skip Smith that he was selected as Eatonville School District's WASA Community Award Member of the Year last year for 2020. And since we were closed during the pandemic, we didn't have an opportunity to face, and we're still not. So Skip, it might be 2021 in May, whenever that vaccine is, but we are gonna just have you have cake at some point. But we want to thank you for your hard work, for helping us be the communicator, always positive about students. You helped us pass that levy at a really difficult time, and you're always in the student court. So I should have you on payroll because you do such a great job. Between you and Amy Jean, there is nothing that anybody can say that we don't communicate. So Skip, I hope you have an opportunity to speak, but I just really heartfelt thank you. Thank you from the board. I'm sure they'd like to say some things, and thank you from our staff as well.
For sure. Skip, if you have a microphone there, you want to unmute and we'll give you the screen.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of the board members for this award. I'm really humbled and shocked. I didn't even know this award existed. But when I was told that I was receiving it, I was pretty excited and humbled. Like you guys, everything I do is just for the students. And I'll continue to do that as long as I live here in Eatonville. So just thank you very much for the award.
Right on. Well, thank you, Skip. You are certainly an iconic figure in this town. I don't think we could measure what you've given to this community over the years, and it's really a bummer that we've got to honor you like we do right now. But we are good for it, like Creston said. We will have a proper celebration when we're able. So thank you, Skip. I appreciate all you've done, and turn it over to anybody else.
Yeah, I would like to really personally thank Skip. It doesn't seem to matter what it is that's going on in the community. He is always right there. I know that I can count on him as a community partner. I hope, Skip, that you feel the same way about myself and the board, that we are always there to step up on behalf of children and community. But you really are outstanding, and I really appreciate the fact that you are level-headed and that you are a person that communicates clearly, and you have so much respect from the community because of those qualities. Thank you so much for all you do. We really couldn't do the things that we do without you. So you and your whole family. I know that when you're involved, your family's involved. So thank them as well too.
Thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, it is difficult sometimes, as you guys know, to stay level-headed. And I know Dina many times here at home has to remind me of that. So she has a lot to do with that.
There we go. Now I'm back. Okay. Anybody else like to say anything? If not, we will say thank you again, Skip, and we will look forward to doing this for real as soon as we're able. So thank you again. Take care and stay warm.
Thanks again, everyone. And I look forward to that little mini celebration, hopefully soon.
Very good. Okay, so let's move on to our enrollment reports. Kim?
Yeah, so we just wanted to hit on a little bit of information as far as enrollment. Overall, our enrollment's at 1833. If you take the average of the first 2 months, that is down. Our budget was 1948, so we're sitting at about 94% of where we budgeted. Was actually sitting at about 92% after September, so we did experience a little bump back in October. Interestingly enough, the biggest enrollment drops are in our primary grades, not our secondary. So fourth grade is sitting at 75% of enrollment, and second grade is sitting at 77% of where we budgeted that enrollment. So those are our two largest drops by far. Middle school is at 93% of their budgeted enrollment, and the high school is actually at 101. They picked up 8 students over what we had predicted. So even without sports starting in August and with all the delays for our high school students, most of them did stay in Eatonville. The offset of that, of course, is our ALE programs, which we have seen substantial gains in. So our primary ALE, we budgeted for 35, and we have 83 students in our primary ALE programs. So at the time we budgeted, we only had MRPP. So we budgeted MRPP for those 35, and we actually have 68 enrolled in MRPP. And then we added EVA, and in September, we only had 14 kiddos in EVA, and we now are up to 31. And that was a substantial enough gain that we did add a second teacher. So we have a 0.5 EVA teacher now, and that's Annalise Datillo. And then Mr. Hansen's focused solely on the middle school at this point. And checked in with Allison today, and she said that that is really going well for EVA. That has been a good switch for everybody. Other than that, we are up slightly in our open doors. We have 31 in our dropout re-engagement program, and that was budgeted at 20. So that's our other significant gain.
So I'm wondering, board, if you would want perhaps a report out from the programs, both MRPP and EVA, at a later time. Is that of interest to you?
You know, I it would be for me. It just would be kind of interesting to get those numbers, and might paint some kind of picture about where kids are moving and going. Go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
I'd like to see the compare and contrast between the MRPP and the virtual academy. And, you know, I know that they're really targeting different audiences, and to have a better understanding of that difference would be helpful for me as well.
I agree. I think it would be very helpful to have a picture, you know, knowing what's going on.
Okay, that's great. Well, I think we're fortunate. We're a small school district, but we seem to have many different options, like a nice buffet for families. So Kim Henley, could you put that on a note, and then we can talk about that tomorrow? Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So any more discussion about the enrollment report from everybody? All right, then let's move on to the financial report, please.
And the financial report, as interesting as it may look at this point, you have to remember that that is all based off of our budgeted enrollment, our budgeted numbers on everything. And so it's not really an accurate picture of what comes in on our revenue. So, and it's not even an accurate picture of where we're closing out the 1920. So really you need to consider that a very preliminary snapshot of the year. and we'll have a better idea when we look at the October financials. I can tell you that our AP run for September and October were up just slightly to last year, which is not surprising considering what we're trying to put in place right now, switching back and forth, but definitely within the realm of our average over the last 5 years.
Thank you, Kim. I did also want to say that Kim and her staff has been working really hard and submitting the end of the year work. And so, Kim, I want to thank you because I know it's just a ton of work right now with all the additional pieces and CARES funding and all these other options that are good, but they're also requiring more work. So thank you for all of your work and all of your staff.
Kristen and Kim, I have a question. Did we get anything from Pierce County in terms of CARES funding as well? And do we know how much that is?
We did. We actually got a second disbursement today.
Yay!
So we have a total of 190,000. The catch there is that it has to be spent by December 30th. So it's not something where we can plan for the remainder of the year. So Kristen and Diane and I powwowed this afternoon, and I think they've got some ideas percolating. Diane's going to touch base with the principals tomorrow and then make sure that we can use that to really make an impact on both our teachers and our families.
Is it more focused on technology needs for families, or is it for every?
I think it's a good, healthy mix, actually, of technology training for our staff and what we can do in terms of providing additional services for our students at home, different offerings, and then actual kits that we can send home and offer to them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Kim. It is certainly a crazy time to be tracking all the budget stuff too. Be quiet. Oh, it's a school district. I better take this. Okay. Any more discussion about the financial report? Okay, then we'll move on to new business, and let's hear about the highly capable plan, please.
Okay, Kristen, I don't know if there's any specific questions that you have for her, but this is our yearly approval of the highly capable program. Kristen, are there any highlights that you need to highlight in this strange pandemic world?
So trying to run a highly capable program in this pandemic world is quite interesting right now. So we just hired a teacher. So it's Deb Noble Perry is coming back and doing the highly capable program for us this year. She will be creating online modules and kits and activities for our students that since they're all remote. We have sent out all our permission slips to the families of our current highly capable kids, and we've only gotten a few back of who would like to participate this year. I think families have a lot going on right now, so they're probably trying to figure out how that's going to fit in their day and their schedules. Since the closure last spring, we never got around to testing our kids that were referred last spring. So we were in the process of doing it in person next week, but since elementary closed, now we're going to have to figure out a virtual testing situation. My team is working on that right now. We should be testing those kids before Thanksgiving, though, those ones that were referred last spring for new kids. So that's kind of it right now. It's ever changing, just like everything else right now. So
yeah.
Nobody gets a break these days.
No.
Everything changing by the minute. Awesome. Any questions, anybody? Go ahead, Rhonda.
Sorry, unmuting. So quick question. Can you tell me what our goal is, our engagement goal, or to interact with these kids at this time? I'm not clear of how, are you trying to interact with them once a week, And that's what we used to do, right? Once a week engagement.
No. So we did once a month,
Once a
and
month.
that's the same plan. So our plan hasn't changed. So their day-to-day highly capable needs are met within the classroom every day. So the program is an enrichment program that they do on a monthly basis. So that's what Deb Nomo is going to do. It's all STEM focused, and she's been partnering with one of the highly capable teachers in Bethel that she knows because that's where she used to work. And they've been partnering and creating activities and basically kits and those kind of things for those kids to do at home. And then she'll probably do some virtual field trips because that's what we really use that time for, is to get the kids out of the community and experience other things. And obviously we can't do that right now, but we can do virtual field trips and stuff. So she's trying to figure out how to fit that in the daily schedule with all the kids' different schedules right now.
Great. And then one other question. Do we have a cap on those kiddos, or is it as many people as qualify get to participate if they choose?
Anyone that qualifies gets to participate, and they have to be in the upper 97th percentile.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay, anything else? All right. Well, thank you, Kristen. So what do we have next here? Discussion to approve, the MOU to change conference dates for this year. So
Right.
that looks very straightforward. I imagine you have something to say about it real quick, Kristen.
Well, real quick, this came from the teachers. They felt like they wanted, well, at the time that we talked about conferencing, we were going to continue having in person, and they really felt like because they had just started in person that they really wanted to, they didn't feel like conferencing at this time would have been a good time. They wouldn't have enough information. They wanted to wait until January. And I think with the pivoting to, I hate that word too, changing to a remote learning primarily based upon, COVID numbers and the restraints, I think it's probably a smart thing. They felt like they had lots of contact with the families on an ongoing basis because things, are still remote even when they're in a hybrid. So this is a 1 year only for this year. And I would not be surprised if the secondary at this point will have a different calendar until we hear further. So we will communicate this out if that's acceptable to you. If you approve the MOU, then we will combine that into our, probably it will go out on Monday for November communication.
Okay, very good. So I would consider a motion to approve the MOU to change elementary conference dates for the 2021 school year.
Second.
Can I get a motion before the second?
So moved.
Okay, a little lag there between people. So it's been seconded and moved. So any more discussion on the MOU? All right, seeing and hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Rhonda.
Opposed, please say no. All right, so the MOU is approved. So now we have to consider the actual changes to the 2021 school year calendar. So I would consider a motion to approve the changes to the 2021 school year calendar. And
So
the
moved.
motion first. All right, Lisa, here's your big chance.
Second.
Very good. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on that? Okay, seeing and hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed, please say no. All right, changes are approved. And now we will consider approval of 2021 Perkins grant application.
Yes, this is the yearly Perkins grant application that must go to OSPI so that we can access the funds for CTE.
Very good. I'll consider a motion to approve the 2021 Perkins grant application.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, all opposed, please say no. All right, our Perkins grant application is approved. We will move to superintendent comments.
All right. Well, I did send you an email in regards to some additional Pierce County uh, funding opportunities. We will have another conversation about that tomorrow afternoon, as we have been talking about community access to testing, which is a huge issue out in Eatonville. We found that when we were screening students out, one of the things that we found is when we're asking students, you know, do you have a headache? Do you have a cough? Those things. When students are screened out, there's really no opportunities for families to go anywhere and do anything unless they go to their family doctor, which many times is in either Olympia or Puyallup, South Hill. And so what we were finding is that our students are not going to get tested. They are just going home for 10 to 14 days, depending on what the determination is. And so we have been talking with Kirk's pharmacy as well as our local doctors about the complication of that. And until there is a vaccine, or even when there is a vaccine, we're going to have to deal with that quarantining. So out of that came a lot of conversation. We've been in conversation for about a month with our local health providers, with some groups from the State Department, the governor's office, Gates Foundation, and others to create increased community access to testing on a voluntary basis. And so this would not be something that would be required, but it would be offered, because right now we have very little opportunity other than our local doctors when they have very small windows of opportunity. So we are continuing the conversation, but that's the email that you did see. There are several other superintendents in Pierce County that have been in this conversation. We will be going forward and thinking about what that looks like for communities, for community and keeping communities healthy. So there will be more, but I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up about that there has been some support from Dr. Chen and from Executive Director. Bruce Stanmeyer was out yesterday unexpectedly. I was actually driving home, and he wanted to come out and see one of the schools. He had heard that we had been very successful, and he knew that we were pivoting back to a remote learning. And so he came out and asked the staff some questions. So thank you for the staff dropping everything and going and helping him. He is a champion of schools and a champion of children. So I really appreciate him very much. And then Dr. Chen, we are still in some conversations. We don't always agree. However, you know, he does have the health and wellness and safety for the entire Pierce County, and that is a huge responsibility. So I do definitely have a lot of respect. But there will be more conversations both tomorrow and into the weeks to come. So we look forward to that. We know that our numbers are rising, but I did want to make it very clear as we stream this that we were not forced to close. The reason that Eatonville had to pivot back to a remote learning is that we are limited to only having 5 students in the classroom a day. Currently, right now, we are between 10 and 7 students. And that was really the conversation that Dr. Chen and I was trying to get that number to move a little, because in the decision-making tree, it says small groups. And it's very clear in Europe and throughout the nation that small groups have been identified all the way up to 15 students. And so, however, that is what we are doing. And so because our teachers just can't have 5 students in one day and then have the rest of the students, that would mean every student would only have access to live instruction in person one day a week, and then the teachers would be responsible for the teaching of the students. So there would be less opportunities for children to learn. Very, very difficult for teachers to have to do all that juggling. And so therefore, along with the numbers rising and the lack of community testing and a lack of our ability for our children to get testing in a readily available we had to make the decision to go remote. And so that is the reason. I know some parents feel like we just closed the doors, and I am sorry. We knew that it was going to be like this year, unfortunately, and the COVID numbers just seem to keep rising. So we really have to take safety first. I did just,
Kristen,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I do have a question. So to clarify, we will not bring special needs students, even in a smaller 5 or under.
Yeah, so we're in that conversation right now. There is no definitive. We don't have that in a plan right now. It is a difficult conversation. I know that the community is saying, how in the world can you open sports in small groups of 5? And we do have our middle school and high school students coming in, specific groups of students in groups of 5. We are allowed to have groups of 5. The governor did change in his proclamation, and you can see that reflected in the new decision-making tree, that athletics is allowed to be occurring in groups of 5. So even though that doesn't make common sense, because we are going to remote in elementary, if we could hire, I think Kim did the numbers. I think it was 20 teachers. No, 20 teachers total.
40.
40.
Oh my
If
goodness.
we could divide it up, and this has been my big thing with private schools, because private schools can stay open if they have 5 to a teacher. So we would have to hire 40 teachers in order to, cut those kids into small enough groups. And it's just logistically, it doesn't work. Yeah. There was never a time where people were unsafe, or we never have had a positive COVID in staff or students at this time. Okay, currently, I say currently, but we also found that our students were not going out and getting tested. They were just screening out for the 10 to 14 days quarantine. So that's a problem. So currently right now we do have our middle school and high school students coming on campus, and not all of them, but select group. We do have our special education students at this time coming in groups of 5. I'm looking at Kristen, and we currently, I don't have a number yet. I have not seen our athletics yet, but I've seen lots of pictures, and I will be taking pictures and sending those off to you today. But I think we had close to 200 students that were signed up. I don't know that number to be accurate, so I will.
Yeah, it was pretty close to that, Chris.
Yeah.
I think it was 180 some kids that came out today.
Yeah. So, I mean, that speaks volumes to the need of our two, of Kalina and Angelina, what we were talking about at our last board meeting, that much of this is mental health, much of it is socialization. And if we can do this healthily and keep people safe with masks and social distancing, we are doing them a benefit. Next week is the end of first quarter, and I know that many people are worried about our middle school and high school students in terms of grades, and that is a national issue. New York Times just published that they have about 65% of their students are not either engaged and or passing at high levels. So it is a concern nationally. Just a couple of other things. WASDA conference presentation, Lisa and Kim, they are going to be the stars of this in Forecast 5. So there will be some planning around that. So we look forward to that. There will have to be some taping, and that has to be recorded beforehand. So that will be interesting. November 6th, you have your first retreat for DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work. We look forward to that. And if there's anything in any way I can make you more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask. I look forward to that meeting. That will be in person, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yep.
Good. So if there's any specific food you'd like, make sure that we know that, right? Just a reminder, Saturday is Halloween, so we hope that everyone listening right now make sure that you wear your mask. We've been masked up all fall and eating candy. I've seen that on Facebook, so it shouldn't be anything new. But we did hear rumors that there were trick-or-treaters this last weekend without masks. So we just want to keep everybody healthy and hope that our numbers stay down. If our numbers can stay down and we can get into moderate, we can get back into hybrid. And if they go lower than that, we can get back in person. So that really is our goal. And hopefully people will be thoughtful over the holidays. It's daylight savings time this weekend, so we'll be falling back. And I think that is it for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Creston. There's a lot of encouraging news in there. Let's see. I believe Angelina's here, right? Angelina, there you go. You want to say something?
Yeah. I was just going to talk about what me and Kalina are working on at this point. We both created Google Forms, just kind of asking some basic questions, both for students and for teachers and staff. And we're hoping to send that out tomorrow morning just to kind of get a general census of how people are feeling while remote learning. And then we're kind of going to leave that out for 1 or 2 weeks and then see based on the responses or how many we get in, kind of plan from there. I also know we wanted to send it out possibly to the middle school as well, because that's also an affected area, obviously, and see how those kids and those teachers are doing as well.
Very good. Thank you, Angelina. That is, it's awesome to get that information from you guys. That's a lot of work to make that happen all remotely these days. So, and is Kalina here?
She was on, but I think she bounced off.
Yeah, she's having really bad internet connectivity issues, so she wasn't able to join.
All right. Well,
We are too. She lives real close to me, and it has been.
It's a rough neighborhood for that. Absolutely. Okay. Well, then we'll continue. Lisa, you have anything to say tonight?
Yes. So as months are coming closer for my my departure, I get so kind of sad and at the same time really blessed to really be working with the most amazing board members in state of Washington. I feel so blessed to just be working with all of you and your grace and patience when I'm not able to contribute. And so I just wanted to just share that with you guys, that I really appreciate this board. It's just really amazing. I also would like everyone to know that we have a great and awesome superintendent who really pushes for bringing the kids, and her passion to fighting for the kids to be back in school. It's amazing. So for those, I know this is an open forum, and so I'd like for the community and the families to know that Creston is relentless and really fights for what is really best for our kids. And so, and I am really, really happy that we're bringing some of our athletes. They need this. That social emotional piece is really important, and it's not only academic. The social emotional is truly important for those kids, and I can see that, and I can attest to that with my son. It is needed, and so I'm really glad that we're bringing that back, and they are truly practicing the social distancing and all the guidelines. And so I've witnessed it, and it's Coach Kralik is really doing a great job with making sure that social distancing and the health guidelines are we're abiding to that. So I just wanted to just share my thoughts tonight. So thank you, Jeff.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it is going to be weird, but we'll soldier on. There'll be somebody else to give a bad time to. Rhonda, pass it to you.
Wow. Well, there has been such a tremendous amount of work going on behind the scenes that I know I haven't been able to see all of it. I know that those our parents haven't seen all the hard work, but I'm very, very grateful. Kristen, I know that as you've been trying to really reach out and support our our most vulnerable kids, those kids who need that special education. I'm so grateful for that work. Kim, you never stop. It's just impressive and amazing the work that you're able to do with your team. So thank you. And Preston, thank you for being a champion for our district. We really are blessed and so grateful to work with you. And Jeff is gone.
Oh,
So
I'm back. Not sure what's going on here. Weird stuff. Thank you, Rhonda. Paulette, would you like to add anything?
No, I just want to echo what Rhonda and Lisa have said, and how much we want all of our staff and our people to know that we support them, and that we want to just keep encouraging them to do the good things that they're doing. And we know it's hard. It's hard on everybody. It isn't. It's hard on parents. It's hard on kids. It's just not a good time. So, but we'll get through it, and with the staff that we have, we'll get through it in a great fashion. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Paulette. Yeah, I would echo what everybody's said. We've done a lot of great work given the circumstances. There's a lot more work ahead of us, and I'm glad we're making some progress though in getting our kids back in a safe manner. I think we've demonstrated that we've got a good plan, a good program, and we get a little support for that community testing. I think that's going to be a huge benefit to this community. So that is all very good news. And with that, I am happy to close my mouth and wrap this meeting up unless anybody has anything else to add.
Jeff, I do have a question. You sent that letter to Dr. Chen. Did he respond to your letter?
He did. He told me tough. Yeah, no, he explained it like I thought he would. He said this is first, like he loves to point out. He said, "I am not prohibiting you from doing what you're doing. That is a choice for the local jurisdictions to make. But as a local jurisdiction, I mean, we're all pretty smart folks, but it really opens yourself up to trouble if you overrule the local health authority." So I am confident after talking with him again that he understands what we're trying to do, and he is supporting us in every way he can. But he's sticking to his guns, in regards to what his duty is, which is different than ours. So yeah.
All right.
We're just like, yeah, go ahead, Preston.
Lisa, can I
Yeah.
So yesterday I had an opportunity, board, to, the governor actually called and we had a meeting at 3:00 yesterday. There were probably, I don't know, maybe 12 superintendents on, 5 were selected to speak. And I found it very interesting. So I just wanted to tell you that Meade has been in school with their numbers in Spokane County. They have every student every day in K-5. They have their middle school and high school students in a hybrid A-B. They have 80% of their students face-to-face. And when students are not in class, the teachers are live streaming. And he did say that that was really kind of a difficult thing, that they were kind of, that was probably not the worst area, but the area that they have to work on right now with online streaming at the same time for the high school students. They have been in, like I said, 6 weeks. During that time, they have had 31 students test positive for COVID. None of them have been linked to the school at all. It's all been from home. And 4 staff positive for COVID, and none of it has been about transmission in the schools. They are using all of the measures that we have, and their health department has been very clear that schools are not the transmissible agent in that, which means that students are coming from home testing positive and then they're staying at home, and it's not going any further than that. I did want to let you know that tomorrow there is a release in, there is a new report briefing that will be coming out called the IDM, and it is about school reentry. So we were called into a meeting tomorrow afternoon, and we will be briefed on that as well. So there is actual information coming out really soon that I will send it on to you as soon as I get it. But I do believe that it will help inform us as we move forward.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. And there's I think I forwarded to everybody an article earlier this week, specifically about pediatrics. And numbers are slow coming in. Pediatric patients are always much less studied than adults because there's so little money in treating kids, so it doesn't get much research dollars. But the evidence that is coming in is really bearing out that younger kids especially are not the spreaders that they were afraid they might be. So that is more encouraging news. So yeah, anybody have anything else? Okay, then let's gavel this meeting out at 19:40. Thank you, everybody.
Jeff, do you want to call you? Okay.
I will right now. Yep. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
Take care,
Good
everybody.
night.
All right. Goodbye, all.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.